10 champions I think we're likely to see in 2024. Now, one thing I'd normally do is make a video predicting what champions will drop based on the narrative roadmap, and let's face it, yeah, we haven't seen anything when it comes to these type of like further predicting type elements. Kabam did say that like state of the battle realm type puzzle, they're kind of done with it. They may release something soon, but they haven't released it just yet. Knowing my luck, I'll make this video today and find later on today they post it, and then I'll have to like kind of completely redo what this video did. But this is why I decided to do 10 champions I think we are likely to see in 2024. Why not do 24, Rich? Well, as I said, there's a big amount of champions to try and predict with very little information. Especially as we're running out of these kind of mystery champion synergies that help us to pinpoint, you know, what some of these champions are or could be of the future. This is actually from Vox's synergy grouping, which you can see there's 2 mystery champions from here. So I'm going to go with these 10 I think are likely to come in. So based on the fact that Kabam are putting a lot of champions from the Summoner's Choice, I mean, look, in a very short space of time, we've seen Kushala come in, which was part of the Summoner's Choice 2022. In this particular voting series, there is Bullseye. Bullseye is going to be a January champion. And the same thing goes for White Tiger, which you remember from last year. We've also seen from the 2022 lot, Baron Zemo, which obviously to retro supports, and also, again, very recently, Danny Moonstar is amongst this as well. So there's a lot of kind of like mysterious based things. This is why it kicks me off with the first prediction of a champion I think we are likely to see, and that is Agatha Harkness. Now you might be saying, Rich, well, it doesn't always work like that. There's not always the tie-ins, and you're absolutely correct. Kabam a lot of the time will not correctly try to tie in the release of champions with the TV shows. But it does seem like from time to time these characters do pop up at very weird times, and we've actually got a large chunk of the year before we see the Agatha Harkness TV show. Funnily enough, it is September of 2024, so, or fall, it may be something to tie into the horror period of time. So we could see a large length of time before this particular character has a chance to be put in, if indeed. But as it was a previous Summoner's Choice based vote champion, I think we could see it. We could see this champion be entered in next year. Which is a similar story I have with Ironheart. Now, again, you might be saying, Rich, that's not how it works. A lot of the time, TV series release. Yep, okay, I get it. But a lot of the time, Kabam will indeed put these characters in a little bit shorter in time frame before the bigger launch of the series. And this is why I think that we could see Ironheart some stage next year, because the show's not released into 2025, so it's not necessarily a tie-in. Funny enough, the writer strike, I think it was back in September of this year, was the reason they decided to delay it to 2025, which I'm not sure how that works because it was in post-production, but maybe there was a scripting issue and they had to redo how it was going to be in phase 5. I don't know. I don't work for Marvel Studios. But I think that there's a good shout for Ironheart to be brought in, especially with a character, you know, it's great. It's got representation. It's female. Is exactly what Kabam look to put in nowadays. So yeah, it looks to me like that would work. And that's an old school 2 years ago, which makes it more likely because we're seeing some of these champions like Morbius from the 2021 edition, from the 2022 edition. I think that Summoner's Choice does play a huge part in characters that are going to be coming into our game. Next up, another character that I think would a good shout, another Summoner's Choice champion, is Echo. Pretty cool skill-based character that could be put into game. Obviously, the previous ones being Tech and Mystic, respectively. So yeah, this would be a good kind of like great addition, and especially, yes, it does tie into the fact that we do have a TV show. Would it tie into the release? I don't think so, but it just would be a case that if they could link it up, it would be very good. A previous Summoner's Choice based champion. It's an iffy one. This is a very much iffy one to be put in. Next up, and a personal feeling that I've got, is Lady Deadpool. Why? Well, there is a big rumor going around that Deadpool 3 is going to feature this character. Again, it is rumor, massive rumor. What was the latest rumor? Like Taylor Swift. I mean, at one point, I think at one point, Bella Thorne was meant to be playing Lady Deadpool in Deadpool 3. So look, I'd say take it with a pinch of salt as to like who or what actress is playing the character. But again, I've got a feeling around this. I think it's been a long enough time since Gwenpool's been released to have that, even though they're not the same, They're not the same. It's kind of like I feel that we might shift into that pattern. Maybe that's something that would be a new kind of like narrative to, I don't know, Deadpool popping up in game, and Deadpool based events are now kind of like a thing. Maybe a February thing, like a I don't know, like a I don't know, like a romantic love thing that could be. I don't know. That kind of a weird. It's Deadpool. Even the Lady Deadpool's weird. So whatever, run it. Next up, Blue Marvel. I think this is a very good shout to come in. An incredibly powerful character and a previous Summoner Choice 2021 contendant. It's contender even, which is there. I think it's, again, like, if anything was within a good shout, it would be the 2021 lot. Whether it's Okoye, maybe it's Morgan Le Fay, maybe it's Dazzler. I think that this would have a good shout. I actually think that Blue Marvel would have a fantastic shout of being a great character within the game and doing, a lot of damage. The other character I think that has a really good shout of coming into game is Spiral. I know that will make one particular person incredibly happy that I know of. Look, I think this indeed, with the likes of Lady Deathstrike already in game, we've got Longshot, we've got Mojo. I feel this is when, with, once per year, we are expanding out this kind of Mojo-verse characters. And is there a chance at some stage that we'll see, like, Battlestar, for example? I think, again, very good shout. But I have this personal feeling Kabam are going to expand out something called the Sisterhood of Mutants. And that would be something that, again, everything would tie into it. And it feels like something, Kabam might do. We will really have to see. As I said, I probably will have to re-record this video if Kabam put out something, but like the kind of like says, oh, these are the mystery champions for the year. We'll have to kind of like do some predictions further to that. But I've got this really strong feeling towards this, especially with the characters being added in at the moment. So something that really interested me is Vox. Vox holds some type of expansive, singular or double new champion theory. I'm going to go with double on this one. And there is one that is shared between myself and JX I know of, and that is the first one, which is the villain's weakness. And this one, to me, with Thor, with the Jane Foster Thor, could indeed pinpoint to, let's face it, we've been talking about it, and that's Beta Ray Bill. This is something that even Kabam have been mentioning on a live stream recently about people's fascination. And I don't know whether or not they were just like mentioning it just for the sake of it, to kind of like, just, I don't know really, like, was it to kind of like, upset the apple cart, but kind of go like, just stir the pot, so to speak, with the fan base. But I think that we've got a shout this year. It's definitely been a champion since like 2021 or even before that. Players were talking about, they'd like to see it in. And this is the thing, like, Kabam don't get why there's such popularity around him. As I said, for me, this is the true edition of the Stormbreaker hammer. Without people going like, oh, here's the hammer axe and the Stormbreaker version of Thor from Infinity Wars. No, Stormbreaker, the golden hammer, with Beta Ray Bill. Make it happen, please. That's how I kind of like to see it. And I think the Kabam would kind of do that. I don't see them bringing in Thor, Stormbreaker anymore into it. It just would make no sense unless they could find a way behind it. But they're better off like just bringing in a new version of Thor and going like the Unworthy Thor. There was a really good new Thor that's coming. That's really weird. That he gets. Oh, that's it. It becomes the Iron Fist. Like, that was weird when I read that one, but look, there's been the Galactus Herald version. I think it's is it called the Rune? Something, it's Rune, isn't it? The Rune King, something like that. There's so many very strange, Marvel stories. Some new ones, new interesting ones. But yeah, Beta Ray Bill for the first one. The second one, the kind of part 2 to this, is the Triple Edge. Now, first of all, I was kind of thinking like, I know what this one could be, but then I've changed my mind, and the character that I'm going with it's a bit new and it's a bit out there. I started doing a quick little bit of research on kind of characters and associations, and there's this character called Triton, which kind of like becomes a bit of a weird thing, isn't it? Because if we're talking about this synergy called Triple Edge, well, talking about triple, Triton. look, is it too obvious to be that? Nah. Well, maybe. Like, it could be. There's a lot of links to things like the Inhumans. You can see Medusa's hair in the background. And look, expanding the Inhuman family of champions would be something quite cool. Synergies, kind of like linking everything together, or linking some more champions together, could again be very, very effective for that line. Just don't know what the future holds with that one. I also think there's going to be some Deathless-based champions at some stage, kind of like taking up multiple spots, but it's definitely not in the 10 that I've kind of set out for this one. And that's pretty much it. The final one, because I have done 9 so far. No, I've done 8 so far. So my number 9 would be Okoye. I think that's going to be like definitely a character coming in. I think Wakanda's going to be expanded. I do think Mbaku would be put into the game at some stage. But next year, I'm definitely going with the fact that Okoye, it's been an underdog voted champion. Will it come back in? I don't know if it'll come back another time. It will probably be some new champions being added into that. So it gives it a chance to be added into game. There was like a Wakanda-based TV show that was meant to come in, but I don't think that's going to be a time for it. But in any case, we've got to finish off. So my final champion that or final character that I think will be made a champion is going to be Lizard. There's got to be either that or Hobgoblin being added in as one of these characters that are Spider-Verse. And this is the one I'm going with. I'll stick me neck on the line there and say that this is the character that's going to be coming in, and that's Lizard. Kabam did say in the back a long time ago they were going to develop this as a character, coming into game, but for whatever reason it's just not happened. It's not come to fruition just yet, when I spoke to Gabe a long time ago. So whether or not this will be coming in, I don't know. What's everyone else's predictions? But as I said, this for me is predicting what I think is likely to come into game, as opposed to like what of the 24 is likely, mainly because we don't know much info. This is just guesswork largely. Normally we find out like what's the narrative for each individual month and we predict, but Kabam haven't released that. We'll have to see what's happening very soon, but that's been your first video for kind of Thursday the 28th. Have a lovely day whatever you're doing. Your thoughts and your predictions in the comments. Check out some other content located on the screen, and I'll see you all soon. Much love and goodbye.